Here. All right, can people hear me? Can y'all hear me? It says I'm live. Can y'all hear me? So I'm using this new Streamlabs thing, and I'm a total noob at it. Actually, I'm feeling like a pretty big noob with everything right now, especially with Linux. I can't tell if I'm actually live. Can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. So the new CCNA, the last domain 6, automation, I'll be teaching that one. And a big part of the automation is going to be Ansible. And Ansible is the network automation tool. It's automating a lot of different things, but that's one of the big things. And yeah, it's run on Linux. It's not a Windows installation. You can't just throw it on anything. It's Linux based. You install it on CentOS. You install it on Debian based systems, Ubuntu. So Linux is here for network engineers. It's here for system engineers. And it's one of those things where I have been avoiding it for a very long time. Let's see. I'm just gonna check and make sure everything's cool on this side of things. All right, I think we're swell. And also, I don't know if you guys know this, but and this is like a weakness in my skill set, the Linux stuff. So I started as a Windows admin, actually. I mean, I was doing networking, but I was a hardcore Windows admin for a while. I was managing Windows servers. I was a domain admin. I was doing Exchange. I was managing terminal services. I mean, I was a Windows geek for the most part. I was managing all sorts of Windows workstations. But Linux has always been like this scary thing to me, like for a long time. So like when I made that video talking about Linux being scary, I was speaking to myself because it's scary for me. I just saw a comment that said my mustache is looking cool. Thank you. And it's been a weakness for me for a long time, and I wanted to solve this problem for myself. Now I can't tell you how many times I've had the thought where it's been probably the last 3 years where I'm like, I really want to just buckle down and learn everything I can about Linux. I just want to do it. It's going to be amazing. And I always get distracted because I've always known Linux is a thing, and it's going to be a thing. And it will always be a thing. It's going to overcome everything. But now, oh my gosh, it's so big. It really hit me when I started teaching on Microsoft Azure. I have an Azure course on CBT Nuggets. I just put out the AZ900, the initial course, and now I'm putting out the AZ103. Knox from CBT actually is helping me out with that. But this one, it's advanced. And oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much Linux would be with Microsoft. Now you're not tested on Linux on the exam, but if you're going to use Azure, you're going to encounter Linux. It's crazy. You're going to install Ubuntu. You're going to do all kinds of things. All right, Jason Blanco, I'm going to answer your question real quick. He goes, what happened in the CCIE? So if you guys don't, I hope you don't remember, I mentioned that I was going to go study for my CCIE, and I did study for it, kind of. Actually, not really. I was so stinking busy with producing content for CBT Nuggets, I did not have any time to study for it. I kind of skimmed and tried to do like one lab from Narvik's books, and I didn't get very far. So I took the exam at Cisco Live. I went and did it. I sat through it. That thing kicked my butt. Oh my gosh, that thing was hard. It asked me questions about things that I didn't even know were things. It was intense. So yeah, it whooped me. I forgot what my score is. It was bad enough to where I was like, I want to keep that to myself. And I didn't feel bad about showing it. I was so busy. I was rushing from thing to thing. Cisco Live is nuts. I barely had time to take the exam. But no, it was an embarrassing score. That thing kicked my butt. So I have a really, I mean, I already respected the CCIE, but I have like a really huge newfound respect for CCIE. And the new one's going to be crazy hard, because the new one is going to be programming. It's going to have a lot of programming. It's going to have a lot of automation. But we're not talking about that. So anyways, I failed the CCIE exam, like bad. The written exam, which will be no more. So I'm not going to feel so bad. There will be no longer a CCIE written come January or February. So whatever, stupid exam anyway. I'm just bitter. Back to Linux. So the cloud is a huge reason I want to learn Linux, because I love the response I got from you guys when I showed you that you could install Linux on Windows. Now, I've known this for a while, but I've never done it myself. It's crazy that you can just go to the Windows App Store and install Kali Linux, which is something that, it's kind of, if you don't know how, like, about virtualization, like if you don't know about putting VirtualBox on your computer or doing dual boot, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to mess with Linux. But man, if you just want to spin up something real quick, if you want to just monkey around, you can just install it on Windows like an application, and that's such a cool thing. If you guys don't know about that, I encourage you to go watch my last video. It's pretty crazy. If you have Windows 10, the latest version, you can just install Linux like it's nothing, like it's Microsoft Word or something. It's crazy. So yeah, that's a big reason. And I'll tell you this: the way I'm going to learn Linux, the way I'm going to lab it up, is going to be with the cloud. I can't tell you how amazing it is to just be able to deploy 4 servers by clicking and then accessing them, and they can be as powerful as you want. In Microsoft Azure, you can use AWS, you can use Google Cloud. I mean, right now you're watching me on Google Cloud, which is all Linux based. So I mean, you're watching me on Linux, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And the beautiful thing about the cloud. Now, I've gone way past that, but if you want to study Linux, if you want to study really anything, like I showed you how you could do a CCNA lab in the cloud, it's free for like the first month. You get $200 of free credit with like Azure. I think Google Cloud gives you like $300, which is outrageous, but they're trying to catch up. I get it. They're a bit behind. I think as far as market share, AWS is still the king. Azure is about to eat them up. They're going to capture it so fast. And then I don't know where Google Cloud is at. I'm not sure. I don't know if they're going to win. Oh wait, you guys have your coffee? Make sure you have your coffee. This could be a long chat. I'm feeling chatty, and I've got a lot of caffeine. So now I want to answer the question, why Linux Plus? Because there are other certifications out there. I haven't attained a CompTIA certification in a long time. The last one I got was Security Plus, and the first certification I've ever received was CompTIA. It was the A Plus back in 2009, which doesn't seem long ago for me, but I guess that would be 10 years ago, wouldn't it? That's 10 years ago that I got a certification. Gosh, I feel old. I'm turning 30 this year. How old are you guys? I want to gauge how old you guys are, where you're at in your career, and like let me know how old you are. I'm curious. You don't have to say if you don't want to, but I'm just curious. But yeah, so anyways, I digress. See, when I edit, it's a lot quicker. When I'm just talking with you guys, it could be a long time, and that's the beauty of live. But the reason I went with Linux Plus, it was really because of Shawn Powers. I interviewed Shawn Powers a little bit in that last video. Actually, I have a long interview, actually 2 separate interviews with Shawn Powers I'll end up posting later. But he's been teaching Linux forever, and he has the most incredible story. We have an interview where we talk about how he legit lost all his memory. He still doesn't remember anything before like 1999 or something. Oh, you're posting your ages. All right. Okay, you're making me feel young. Oh man, I love this. But anyway, so Shawn had to learn Linux from the ground up, and don't complain about not being able to get your hands on stuff, because Shawn, when he had to learn Linux, he had to like go buy disks, go buy floppy disks, and purchase them. Now you can just go download Ubuntu for free. But yeah, where was I? So Linux Plus. He said the new Linux Plus is so fun and so interactive and so incredible that he just had a ball taking it. I was cracking up when he was telling me about it. And so the old Linux Plus, this is what's kind of different, is the old Linux Plus, which you can still take, I believe. It was kind of a twofer. There's the LPIC 1 exam, which is the Linux Professional Institute of something, I think, which is its own exam. but they partner with CompTIA. So if you took the Linux Plus and passed that, you also got the LPIC 1. And if you took the LPIC 1, you also got the Linux Plus. Like their exam objectives were so similar that I guess you just get a freebie. Not the case anymore. And I think you had to take a couple exams. So now they're kind of going rogue. They're on their own. No more LPIC. They left them behind. And Shawn Powers just texted me. Hi, Shawn. He's great. He seriously is like, and by the way, I'm going to mention his training here in a bit. I was watching his training last night, and it's so stinking fun to watch him train. Sorry, I just got a notification about something about buffering, but I'm okay. Anyways, so gosh, I lost my train of thought. Thanks a lot, Shawn. Making me forget things. The new Linux Plus, no more LPIC. It's one exam, and it's powerful. I was looking at the exam objectives right before this call. Of course, I couldn't look at it on CompTIA's website. They were down. And some of the new stuff is they have SE Linux they're adding to it, which is like secure Linux. It adds some like kernel security updates to Linux, which is like some NSA hardcore stuff. I'm not really sure what it is, but I know it sounds cool, so I want to learn it. And other new stuff they're adding to it is Git, which is versioning control, and they're adding automation. They're adding some like network firewall configuration, so building up the firewall in Linux. Which is so cool. Like I've done Linux stuff in the past. Like I've done stuff. I've deployed Ubuntu. I've set up Raspberry Pi stuff before. I have a Raspberry Pi running on my wall. Actually, it's Raspberry Pi and some other stuff. And I've set up GNS3 and I've done all kinds of stuff, but I've never like really learned it. Like know it like what I know Windows, or know it like I know Cisco. And I feel like I'm losing that. I missed that. And I've configured pfSense before too. Like pfSense is very Linux. I think it's very hardcore Linux. I don't remember actually. Let me know if you guys know that. It's been a long time. But just that kind of stuff, the open source world is amazing, and I want to be a part of that. So regarding what they added to the exam, they also added troubleshooting, which is really cool. And they've added device management at an enterprise level. What they've taken away, which I think is really, really funny, is they've taken away printing. So that's good. Oh my gosh, could you imagine learning about printing now? Is there still printing in the A+? I would assume there might be. This is actually really interesting what they've taken out of the Linux Plus exam. They've taken out end user support, which is interesting. Like, 'cause, I mentioned in the video that everyone should learn Linux on Wednesday. And there is a really amazing desktop GUI for Linux if you get Ubuntu. It's amazing. I mean, people use these desktops as their main daily runner, daily driver. And I mean, you can't run like stuff I need. Like you can't run Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Premiere. But for most things, if you just use Google Apps, you can use Ubuntu as your main operating system. But it's interesting that they're taking out end user support in the Linux Plus exam. So it's kind of telling us that, hey, Linux is, I don't know. And the way I view it, they're telling us that Linux is for the big boys, for business, for servers. And that's what you're going to be supporting. That's the majority of what Linux is doing right now out there anyway, right? And they took away mail and they took away SQL, which I think is interesting. It's kind of funny. So the new Linux Plus is supposed to be like really, really robust. And it goes broader. I think it goes a bit broader. It's more relevant to what we're using now. And it's supposed to be more difficult. It's more hands-on. It's more... It's less multiple choice questions and more, hey, configure this. Hey, type some things out. Hey, run a command, which I think is like really cool. That's kind of how the Microsoft exams are now too. I took one a few weeks ago, didn't pass, but it was difficult and it was fun. Like it was the most fun I've ever had on an exam, and I think that's where exams are going now. I'm so excited to see the new CCNA stuff. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to take those exams. So anyways, yeah, I'm taking Linux Plus. Now this is where I need your help, and I kind of want to challenge myself. So, Linux is I'm a noob. I'll call it. I'm a Linux noob. What I showed in that video, helping my daughter out, like I Googled that, and I mean I've known it in the past, but I Googled that sucker. I'm not an expert in any way, form, or fashion. Sorry, water break. However, this is where I need your help. I want you to tell me when I should take this exam. You guys tell me the date, I'll schedule it. I don't know how long it is going to take me to study for it, but I don't want to decide that. I want you to decide that for me. So tell me right now. Tell me how many weeks. It's going to be weeks. Do not say tomorrow, because that would be so mean. Tell me how many weeks and I should study my exam, or set my exam date, and I'll do it. I'll set it, and I'll study like a madman. And what I want to do is I want to take all the study tips I've given you guys over the past, how long I've been doing this? 2-3 years? I don't even know how. I want to take all those study tips I've given you, and I'm going to super hardcore apply them, refine them, and really test myself. Get up early, stay up late, and try to knock this thing out. Someone said August 29th. Tomorrow, jerk. Frosty Knight said tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. August 29th. When is that? Is that a week away? Oh, no, that's wow. I don't know days. I work from home. I don't know what days are. That's a good amount of time. August 29th. I like that. That feels like a good day. February 24th, 2020. 52 weeks. Nick, one of my members. Yeah, I think 6 weeks is probably good. Yeah, no. If you guys follow Dwan Lightfoot, he also posted. We didn't coordinate that. He posted that he's also going for Linux Plus. So it just happened that we were both thinking about that and both posted. So we'll see. I'm not competing with him, but it's just I'm competing with myself. What I do, and I'm sure a lot of people do this, is when I start studying for an exam, I give myself way more time than I need. And I freak out and I fixate on things I need to learn. I spend too long in areas where I could probably just breeze through. So it's really, I doubt myself a lot, which I know a lot of people do. So what I want to do is just trust the process, go through it, and then just take the exam. Just go for it. And I think it should be fun. So I like August 29th maybe. Yeah, I like that. It's going to be good because my wife just went to the doctor today. And she's pregnant, by the way, with our fourth kid, and it's gonna be a girl. We're gonna have 4 girls, so pray for me. And she could be due any time now. Apparently, this live stream could be interrupted, and the baby could be coming. It could be now, it could be a week from now. So I'm expecting some time to study. I think I don't know how it's gonna be. 4th kid might be different. So I'm really really excited to spend some time studying. So yeah, so August 29th. Are you guys cool with that? August 29th. Anybody else want to join me? Doesn't have to be Linux Plus. You can add something else. You can do something else. Anyways, Meaty1212. He said he has been sitting on the CCNA routing and switching Facebook group, and no one's been allowing him in. I have some admins that should let you in. I'll go in there and make sure I add all the good people. I'll remember your name. Okay, cool. So that's why I'm taking the Linux Plus. I think it's a pretty cool exam. I think it's pretty killer. And I'm excited to dive deep and learn Linux. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Actually, I haven't answered the question of what am I using to study. Now, I got a super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Someone said, do you recommend? It's Jesus Band AXD. I don't know what the last part stands for, but I like the first name, Jesus Band. Do you recommend the new exam or the old exam? It's one of those things where you're gonna do great with either exam. You're gonna know Linux with either exam. I think you're gonna do fine. But if you want to be relevant, if you want to be up on the new stuff, I think you should go for the new one. Honestly, that's where I'm feeling. I'll ask Shawn Powers, and maybe I'll just Shawn, if you're watching this, I kind of want to bring you on and just pick your brain more about the new Linux Plus, just for my own benefit and someone else's. Just off the top of my head, if I would go for the new one. Honestly, that's what I would go for. Now, as far as training material, it's kind of scarce. I've been looking around. There's not much. But what I love, though, is that Shawn Powers on CBT Nuggets has already produced, I think it's 2 whole modules, and it's almost done, it seems. No pressure, Shawn. But it's fantastic. Oh, my goodness, it's so good. And I've been looking around. I didn't see really anybody else that has training out. And there's really no books for it either. I think the only book out there is CompTIA's book. And it's $88 or something like that. So I'm like, oh my gosh, do I want to buy that or not? I'm not sure. I kind of feel like I have to, so I might buy that. But Shawn Powers, there, he's in the house. Show him some love, guys. Go follow him. Actually, go subscribe to him right now. I would love it if you guys would go follow him. And he says the new exam rocks, which I'm really excited about. Now, Kevin R said something interesting. He said HR doesn't care about the new Linux Plus. Linux Plus is Linux Plus. And from a pure marketing yourself HR standpoint, he's absolutely right. So if you're about ready to take that Linux Plus, you're at the cusp, like you're cramming and you got like a week out from the exam, dude, just take the Linux Plus, the old one. Like that's a no-brainer. He's right. For your career, just get those letters behind your name, behind your name or in front of your name, wherever you put them, on your resume somewhere. Oh yeah, and it was Shawn's birthday. Happy birthday, Shawn. I think was it today or yesterday? Oh, I don't know, but happy birthday, Shawn. Everyone say happy birthday, Shawn Powers, because he's an amazing individual. So excellent question from Elarte del Amor. I don't know if I said your name right, but they said, what happened to CCNA? Should we still go for it? Now, I saw this and I know this is my bad. So I'll get super excited about something and I'll act like it's the only thing you should do. So I did that with CCNA. I'm like, everybody stop, get your CCNA right now. Don't do anything else. Just quit your life, get your CCNA. And then now I'm kind of doing that with Linux. That's my bad. I'm sorry. Hey, we got a new member, Patrick. Patrick, thanks for joining my membership. Guys, if you don't know about my membership, by the way, if you want to support my channel, you can join me. It's just like a small contribution each month, exclusive live stream with me, and I'll be adding more stuff. But anyways, it's cool. It's cool. I get to join the team. Where was I? I totally lost my train of thought. Anyways, where I don't know what I was just saying. That's amazing how that just happens. Thanks a lot, my new member. You just totally made me derail. CCNA. So yeah, no, I get excited about new things, and I'm sorry for that. So if you're going for CCNA, oh my gosh, get the CCNA. Like, go for it. It's going to be renewed February 2020. You want to get it on your resume before then. You're going to win. If you're studying for CCMP, get your CCMP. The message I had for people about Linux is if you are kind of in the in-between stage, if you're like me right now. For me, I have my CCMP, I have my CCNA. I don't really know what to go for next. I love learning, and I've always loved Linux. I've always loved it. So I'm like, I'm going to do that. And Shawn really convinced me. New member, Geeky F3Z. Thank you so much for joining. That's amazing, dude. Or person, unless if you're a dude or not. Thank you. Now, someone's asking about Red Hat. I'm going to jot that down, and we'll talk about Red Hat in a second. Red Hat. Because that is something I'm considering too. But no, absolutely go get your CCNA, get your CCMP. My message was for people who are in transition, or, I'm hoping that I'm not just talking to Cisco people. I'm hoping I can start talking to Microsoft people, and I hope I can start talking to Linux people and programmers. I love what IT is doing right now. I don't know if you guys are noticing it. William Murray, dude, man after my own heart. He's part of it. Thanks, dude. Thanks for joining the membership. I don't know if you guys realize, but IT's kind of like, I feel like everyone's melding together. Now, this used to be my advice, and I was sticking to it for a long time. Like, if you want to be successful in IT, you narrow down, you focus on one skill, like become a rock star network engineer or become like a rock star collaboration engineer. Only have that skill set and go strong, and that's all you need. For some cases, that's still true, but oh my gosh, I'm seeing now to where you have to become a generalist. It's becoming that way, especially with automation. Like, you need to broaden that skill set. So now we're seeing people who never touched programming before start learning programming. People who didn't care about Linux are learning Linux because now their precious Windows desktop is running Linux. It's fun. I think it's so exciting, and so I'm hoping that I can start talking to more people like that. I hope I get more people on the channel that will inspire me to learn other stuff. But yeah, that's kind of the mission, the mantra. And so I'm excited about all this new stuff, and that's kind of my mission. Start talking to other people. Daniel Tosa, thanks for becoming a member, dude. Thank you so much. So let me see. I was going to talk about Red Hat. So the other reason I chose Linux Plus is because it is a beginner cert, and according to Shawn Powers, and I trust Shawn Powers with my life, we slept in the same house one time. The new Linux Plus, if you take that exam, you know the concepts, and you pass it, you'll walk away a really, really strong person. You'll know Linux. You'll be able to do things with Linux. You'll be able to support people with Linux knowledge. So I chose that as a beginner level cert for me. Now, as far as like the other certifications, vendor specific, like Red Hat, where do those fall into play? Honestly, I'm not really sure about that. Now, I know Red Hat is huge. I call them flavors. It's a flavor of Its free cousin is called CentOS. They're basically the same thing. But Red Hat is like enterprise level. Like if you get Red Hat, you have to license it like Windows. If you ever work with Cisco virtualization stuff, like if you deploy gosh, got Windows on the brain. If you deploy Cisco collaboration technologies, that runs Red Hat Linux. CUCM. I mean, I'm running Red Hat in my, like, those phones right now are registered to a server that are run on Red Hat. So Red Hat is very heavy in Cisco. It's very heavy everywhere. So it's huge. The free version of Red Hat is CentOS. New member, Kent Coley. Welcome to the team. Yes, I'm excited. This is awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, Matt said Red Hat is hot. Definitely look into it. I do think it is hot. James Mason asked, how do we become members? There's a link in the description where you can join, I think. Yeah, there should be. And you can also click join if you're watching on a desktop. So the Red Hat certifications, I think it's the RHCA, the Red Hat Certified Administrator. And it's very much focused on Red Hat. But according to Shawn Powers, and I'll post this video, but according to Shawn Powers, if you I don't know how deep it goes, but if you know Linux and you study Red Hat, it's just going to be more specific to Red Hat. You're already going to know the fundamentals of Linux and how it works. The way I see it is kind of like going from one programming language to a like-minded programming language. It's a little bit different. The syntax will be different, but you already know programming, so it'll be really easy to pick up. But it is one of those things you want to have on your resume because it's so huge, so important. Everyone uses it, and it holds a ton of weight. And plus, their logo is so cool. It's got the little red hat, But it's enterprise. It's enterprise level stuff. It's not just like the reason it's so big is because you can get support on it, like Windows. The problem with Linux, well, it's not a problem. It's just an opportunity. How corporate people like to put it. The opportunity with Linux is that the support isn't always great. Now there's great community support, but if you're a business and you want to pay for Linux support, Red Hat is built in. You can say, Red Hat, I'm going to license your software. I'm going to get support. If my guys break it, I can call you and they can fix it. It's like Cisco. It's like Windows. That's the benefit of Red Hat. New member, James Mason. Welcome to the team, brother. Yes, awesome. On that note, I'm going to take a coffee break and refill my coffee mug. Got this excellent Stranger Things mug. Anybody watch Stranger Things? I feel like everybody watches Stranger Things. Anyways. And I'm getting thirsty as all get out. So again, the real heart behind me learning Linux is to, I honestly want to expand my skill set to become much more broad. I've very much been a Cisco guy my entire career. And I want to become more, a Windows guy. But I want to learn Python like hardcore, and I know that goes hand in hand with learning Linux and becoming more open source. That's where we're going, guys. That's where we're going, and it's scary. And I know if you're just starting out and you're just like now getting your CCNA, it might feel overwhelming. I totally get that. I've been there. I'm like, I can't tell you how frustrating it's been for me sometimes, where I would be in the middle of studying for my CCMP, and I'd be like, there's all this new stuff coming out, and I'm so frustrated with it. Like, I'm still learning this. Can I just learn this first before all this other stuff comes out? Like, they've been talking about network automation forever. And I'm like, okay, I just got to finish my CCMP. And then I'll jump to Python. But I got to finish the CCMP first. So, technology isn't going anywhere. I know we got a new member. I almost missed it. Frederick Day. Congrats, dude. Welcome to the team. Yes. But anyways. Oh, and someone asked, have you ever considered CCIE? He must have missed that part. Yes, I did consider CCIE. I went and took the written exam. I just spilled coffee on my leg. I went and took the written exam at Cisco Live, and it kicked my butt. And I don't know. It's like CCIE is intense. You're definitely going deeper into technologies, deeper than you will really any technology. And I don't know. It's hard for me to see the value for me right now. For some people, it might be the best value in the world. I think for a lot of people, it's just because they want the number, and which is not like a bad thing. It's a good thing to have that number. It's going to look amazing on your resume. I think it's just because they want to prove to themselves they can reach the tip top of their industry. And I get that. Like, I want that. But if I evaluate the time it would take and the value it'll give me in my current situation, and I think everyone has to do that. And for me, it's not there yet. I took that exam as a test. It kicked my butt. And I know the new one, which is just going to be a lab, is going to be intense. I might take it for fun. Just the lab portion. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Like for me to go in. I mean, my goal with the new Ccmp stuff, when that comes out, with the new Ccmp, you take the core, and let's focus on enterprise for a second. You take the core, and then you have all these concentrations, 6 concentrations. My goal is to collect them all. I want every concentration. I want to become that person. I know I won't be the first person. I know people are going to be like rushing to collect all 6 concentrations or however many there are in the other tracks. Are you going to go for that? Like, let me know if you're going to do that. But for me, I want to collect them all. And then, like, why not try CCMP or CCIE Lab? Because like that's the it's not the official prerequisite, but they expect you to know everything from those tracks. So you might as well just go get them. That's what I want to do. Anyways, I think it's time for some Ask Me Anything, and which you guys have been asking me a lot of questions. I'm going to try and go through and find some questions. Let's see. I'm going to take a swig of coffee. Someone asked me, how do you sleep at night with so much coffee? It doesn't affect me. Like, really, I could drink this entire French press carafe and I can go to sleep right now. Not a problem. But it also like makes me go crazy, so it's a win-win. Alex asked me, do you think Hopper is alive or dead? He's totally alive. He's totally that American. I know he is. My wife and I let my kids watch it, and we were like up watching it. Like he's totally. I'm sorry if that's a spoiler alert, but Hopper's alive, no doubt. Gearson asks, should I wait for the new CCMP material? Well, it depends on. Someone said Pinux. It depends on where you're at and which CCMP track you're going down. If it's routing and switching, you only have 3 exams. Not a huge deal. Shawn Powers had to duck out. It's his birthday. I guess we'll let him out. It's his birthday party. If it's like a routing and switching, 3 tests, okay, it's a pretty big deal. But not as bad as like going for collaboration, which is 4 exams. And I think security is also 4 exams. Depends on where your level of knowledge is at. How many you completed already? If you're 1 exam in, you got 2 left. You still got like 6 months. I believe like 3 months per exam. You can knock that out. You'll do amazing. To sum it up, I think you should get your CCMP before then. But we're kind of hitting the wall to where if you're starting fresh, you may not have enough time because you want to do it right. You want to study it efficiently. You want to lab it up. You want to know it well. And I think we're kind of hitting that wall now. Like a month ago, or I made the video about 2 weeks ago. I think we're starting to get there. We're creeping up. But I think you can still do it. So if you're going to do it, do it. It's going to take time. It will take effort. It will take a lot. But I believe you can do it. Let's see what else we got. Edward said, a bunch of nerds up in here on a Friday night. Yes, there are a bunch of nerds here. And we wear that badge proudly. Let's see. Anybody? There's a lot of stuff going on here in this feed. So I'm trying to go through. But if you have another question, just ask it again. So someone's asking which distribution of Linux they should start with. I would say go with the easiest one, and the most friendly one, the most popular one. Go with Ubuntu. I don't know how to say that correctly. I don't know if it's Ubuntu or Ubuntu. Speaking of how to pronounce things, someone called me out on YouTube. So I said, when you're on the Linux terminal, not command line, you're in the Linux terminal and you're typing and you go sudo. It's actually not pronounced sudo. It's pronounced sudo. And I never knew that, so I'm a total noob. I don't know if anyone else knew that, but it's actually pronounced sudo. If you want to sound cool or maybe not as cool to some people, say sudo. Let's see. Great question from Zetharian, and great name. Will recruiters value the new versions of the certs more than the renewed old ones? I don't think they're going to care. I mean, people who have these certifications still are trying to figure out the new certifications. Recruiters, people in HR who, gosh, they have to focus on so many other things. I think they're just going to go, hey, there's a CCNA. Like, honestly, I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, I've talked with so many HR folks, and I've interviewed with I've had a lot of interviews. Like, I love interviews. I'm kind of, my wife calls me an interview slut. I would sometimes just receive a call from a recruiter and just go to the interview. Even if I was like totally happy with my job, I would just go there for fun. And I've had so many, like you always interview with the HR person first, and all they get is this requisition from the IT department saying, hey, we need this, and this, and they don't know. They just go, oh, well, CCNA, or they might feed it through a system and it searches for all these candidates on a job database and it pulls up CCNA. I mean, it's not going to matter. That's why I'm saying, like, if you get the old one now, you'll be fine. Now, the big thing I think is going to be so interesting for us now is that we're no longer going to have, CCNA security, CCNA collaboration, CCNA wireless. So those are going away, but people are still going to look for those people. Like that you can't change the minds of millions of people all at once. They're still going to go, hey, we need the skill set of a CCNA security person, or hey, the government security requirement is that they have CCNA security. Like that, I think that's still in effect. What's also interesting, I never mentioned this in the video, but I found this out because Anthony Square actually said it. CCNA cybersecurity is possibly still going to be a thing. It's weird. I promise you, go to the website right now, cisco.com/next level, and you look, or no, not that one. Go look at the CCNA CyberOps. CyberOps, that's what it was. Go look at CyberOps. Go look at the webpage. It doesn't say it's going to be retired. It just says like pending updates or something. So it's not going away officially. So that's kind of interesting. Cisco may be kind of backtracking on that. I don't know what their plan was. Yeah, CCNA security is going to be gone. But yeah, if you get it now, that's the beautiful part of it. Like, if you get CCNA security now, you're going to have it for 3 years, and that's going to stay in your resume, and people can verify it, and that's important. It's important. You're going to show up in job searches. That's just how it's going to be. The industry is not going to catch up with Cisco as fast as we want them to. Oh, Matt says that the cool thing about Linux is that it doesn't change as often as Windows does, which is actually really cool. Awesome. That's awesome. Whitger, I'm not sure how to say your name. How are you making your coffee these days? Most of the time, it's this, my French press. It's just I love the taste, and it's so easy to make. When I'm feeling adventurous, I'll use my it's actually this guy right here. I'll use my vac pot, which is like this. I've shown it on my channel before. It's this crazy sci-fi looking thing where you have like a Bunsen burner. I feel like, Walter White making some coffee. I feel like a total boss, so I'll use it every once in a while. But it takes a lot to make it, and it's not sustainable to do it every day. But yeah, French press is my daily grind. I'm thinking about actually making some, selling some coffee, producing my own brand, because I think it'd be fun. Oh, William Murray, excellent point. Talking about the CCNA voice, he said he still sees job descriptions looking for people with the CCNA voice. The voice has been retired for 3 or 4, and maybe even 5 years now. It's been a long time. It's now CCNA collaboration, which is now not anymore. But yeah, that's been retired for a while, and people still look for CCNA voice. He's totally right. I mean, I still get that all the time. People are like, hey, we need a CCNA voice. People are slow to change. Trust me. So you want those old things in your resume too, without being, without lying, obviously. Timmy said, I love you, Chuck, and I'm giving Timmy a shout out. Hey, because they used a lot of exclamation points and it stuck out in the chat. Oh, and by the way, if you took my Linux challenge, well, I know it wasn't like a crazy challenge, it's just a fun thing to do. If you went in there and commented and left some stuff on that server, that was really cool. I went and read all that. It was really fun. Kwame Cole asks, I'm late, but is Linux good for cloud? Yeah, the cloud is pretty much Linux. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, there's Windows up there, a little bit, but Linux is king up there, man. So I think the requirement is you have to know Linux going into cloud, or at least you'll learn it while you're doing cloud. We got a super chat. Thank you from Giddies. He's asking, or she's asking, how's the job market in the Dallas area for network engineering? I've been in the game for a while and looking to relocate there soon. I can tell you right now, I get hit up all the time, and I'm actively telling them I'm not looking. And they'll text me. I had one recruiter call me every day for like 2 weeks. It was driving me crazy. So yeah, the area, Dallas, is amazing for network engineers. I've always said that, and it's always been the case. And yeah, there are a lot of markets in America. I'm not sure about global, but in America, yeah, there's some great markets. Austin, anywhere where there's like a Cisco hub, like RTP, which is in the North Carolina, Virginia area, and like California, which is like super expensive, but still, it's a really great market for network engineers. But Dallas is super low cost of living, and oh my gosh, tech people galore. Yeah, DFW is absolutely booming. DFW is the acronym. So John's like Linux, then Bash or Python. So I'm very much going to be investing in Python, if that's what you're asking. So Python, that's what I know. Everyone, like, I struggle so much with learning overload. I know many of you do that, where I'm like, it happens like 15 times a day. I'm like, I'm so excited to learn Linux. I can't wait to learn Linux. But then I'm like, but I also want to learn Python. And there's Python over there. It's kind of like that meme where like it has that guy looking back, you know? It's like he's got his girlfriend next to him. That's how I feel all the time with technology. Or like, oh, I should go get my CCNA security, or I should get my CCMP security. There's so many things. And I changed my mind about 15 times a day. So like Linux Plus was like a process for me to decide I had to stick with it. But at the same time, I'm still going to study for Python. My goal with this, guys, is I want to create content on Linux on this channel. So I'm not creating a full training course. I'm not going to do that. But what I want to do is I want to take what I've learned in my course as I'm studying through this process. I want to try to create meaningful content about this to show you some cool things that I think is really cool. And I'm going to try to apply it to, my studies of Python and network engineering. I mean, because CCNA, people are still studying for that. There's still going to be a new one coming out. It's a lot to go through. Someone asked again, why don't I study for the Red Hat? And there's the RHCE. I might. I don't know. I'll do the RHCA first, right? But I might. Depending on how much I love Linux, which I kind of already do. Honestly, I kind of love it already. We'll see how our relationship goes. How about some cybersecurity or collab stuff? Yeah, I'll make some. And Anthony, thanks for the super chat, by the way. Collab stuff. The problem with collab stuff, guys, is that not a lot of people do it. And I love collaboration. Obviously, I love it. And I will be actually producing the CCMP collaboration courses for CVC Nuggets. So I'll be diving back into it here soon. But it's just not a lot of people do it. Not a lot of people are interested in it. So I'll try to sprinkle in some here in a bit. But very much I want to focus on Linux, Python. I might even do some A+ stuff. I might like do a computer build. I was thinking about doing a computer build with my daughter. Might be kind of fun. I'm actually going to have an interview with, maybe. I was talking with, if you guys know Cisco Panther, he might be watching. Hi, Ernest. This guy studies everything all at once all the time, and is like a beast. He's like studying for his CCIE right now. He's also studying AWS. He's also studying Python and Linux, and like I think he studies everything, and like Java and stuff. I don't know. He's insane. So I'm going to see what his study habits are. Like that's going to be my focus here soon. Is like I haven't like full hog studied for something super fast in a while, so I'm gonna like redo my thought process and document that process for you guys. I'm gonna make myself an experiment and try to like do things and see if it works. Someone asked, is there a Python cert? There is Python certs out there, but it's not like the that was the first thing when I decided I wanted to learn programming. That was the first thing I tried to find. Can I get certified in this? Can I get certified in Python? So I spent like 30 minutes trying to find a Python cert. There are some out there, but it's a different world from our world, from system admins. Programmers don't really depend on certifications. They depend on their projects and what they can do. They depend on their GitHubs. If you can look at the projects and what they've done and their portfolio and it looks great, that's their certification. So I don't think a lot of people depend on that, and I wouldn't consider one unless like one comes out. Dimitri is watching me, and that's creepy. Dimitri Fiegel is in the house. If you don't know Dimitri Fiegel, he just did that super chat, $10. Thank you, Dimitri, for that. If you don't know him, you need to go follow him right now. Click on his name. Go subscribe to him. He does a lot of stuff with Cisco DevNet. He works for Cisco. He's a CCIE, and he's like one of the smartest dudes I've ever met. And he's really into Cisco programming and Python and all that. He just went to a Python conference, which was really cool. So he's hardcore. So he's a great guy to know, and he does like Twitch stuff like this. I think, Dimitri, we want you back on Twitch. So start Twitch streaming again and doing your live coding. It's amazing. We got Anthony Smith. He does a lot of Unix security things in his work. If you ever want to collab, just let me know. Maybe. I'm looking for good Linux people to talk with because, again, I'm a total noob. I'm trying to break into this and figure it out, and I do need some help because I've only just broken stuff in my own lab. I've never done it professionally. Well, I mean, I've messed with Linux professionally, but you wouldn't think it was professional. So, but yeah, thanks for the super chat, and yeah, we should collab. I'll jot your name down so I can remember it. Otherwise, I will forget. Anthony Smith. Noiz said a degree is more important for programming compared to networking as well. I would say that a little bit. But I don't know. It's. I see people all the time who are skipping degrees for programming too. Now, a computer science degree, I'm not gonna shy away from that. Like that's a huge deal. It's a huge thing. I know people who have gone for it, gotten it, have amazing careers. But I see more and more people who are doing what I did with programming. They skip the degree, and go for straight, just learning it. Go to boot camps. Like boot camps are huge, and they just skip the whole. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I'm very much against traditional education. I am. And I'm not afraid to say it anymore. Like I've been kind of shy about it, but I think college is going to change drastically here very soon. We already kind of see it morphing, but I'm telling my children right now, you're not going to college. You're going to learn a skill right stinking now. New member, DCaviour Co. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the team. And also another one, Mitch Anderson. Dude, Mitch Anderson, thank you for joining. That's awesome. But anyways, college, no. I tried it for a bit. No. You get certifications, learn on your own. The internet has changed and broken everything. You can do whatever you want. Degrees used to be only valuable because people valued them, but I think it's going to go down. Let's see. So someone's eyeing WGU's cybersecurity program. So WGU is the one program I went to WGU for a while. The funny thing is that the final exam for that, this is a while back, the final exam for that degree program was the CCNA. But I went into it already having my CCNA. So I'm like, okay, I was honestly just going to WGU to get the paper. I was already a network engineer. I was already doing it. I just wanted the paper. And they like counsel you. Oh, new members. We got Giddies. Thank you so much for joining. Anthony Smith and Gerson Torres. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. We'll be having some fun here pretty soon. I'm getting tired. My coffee's running out low. Let me sip some more. WGU is amazing because you do get certifications in the process of going for it, but still, it's going to be more expensive. It will be more expensive than getting self-study. Now, I totally get it. Some people cannot self-study. It's not for everyone. But the problem is, and this is where I always encourage self-study, is with self-study, that's IT. When you get in IT, you never stop learning. Self-study is almost the job. You are constantly self-studying. So I tell people, okay, they ask me, how do I get in IT? What's the best way? You self-study, because that's what you're going to be. That's the job anyway. You're starting now, day one. That's what you're doing. I've never stopped studying since the day I stepped into my first help desk job. It's always been the case. We got a battle here. Fortinet or FortiGate versus ASA. Changed my mind. Or it's not versus, it's greater than ASA. You know, I haven't messed with the Cisco ASA, which is the adaptive security appliance, the Cisco's answer to the firewall, in a very long time. Actually, I might be messing with it soon here. Actually, I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I don't. I wish I could fight you on it. I don't. Let's see. So Nathan's asking, I just started studying for my CCNA routing and switching about 3 weeks before Cisco decided to change everything. How many hours do you think I should study and lab for each day if I'm trying to get my cert in 3 months? So for CCNA routing and switching, 3 months, how many hours each day? As many as you can. And that's pretty much it. I know you're probably asking for a minimum. Gosh, it's so hard to say. I don't know, honestly. 3 months is a pretty tight timeline. I usually say you can knock out your ICND 1 in 3 months and your ICND 2 in 3 months. But yeah, 3 months for your CCNA, it's totally doable, totally doable. But it's just I don't want to give you too much time, and you not have that time. But I would just say what I would do is I would just say dedicate some time in the morning, dedicate some time at lunch, use your lunch hour if you have a lunch hour, and dedicate some time in the evening. And you want to always be labbing. You want to be doing that. You got to make, like, if you have a tight timeline, I've been there, been doing that. If you have a tight timeline, you do it. Now, I'm gonna try and document that kind of process, that kind of mentality when I'm studying for the Linux Plus. Like when I was in the trenches of studying for a certification, I was like trying to get it as fast as I could. I mean, I had flashcards on my phone every spare moment. I mean, I'm at birthday parties. I'm sitting there with my book open. People like made fun of me. They got mad at me because I'm sitting there studying with my huge route book. I'm like, no, I'm studying. On planes, I'm studying. Everywhere, I'm studying. Flashcards, every spare moment, I'm studying. In the car, my wife hates Jeremy Charles' voice now because I would listen to CBT Nuggets in the car on the way to church or when go anywhere, always studying. That's the kind of commitment you got to have if you have a tight timeline like that. Now, it's not for everybody. If you just set a clear 6-month timeline or 9-month timeline, you can study for a few hours each day. That's fine. But if you like want to bulldog it and get crazy, you got to have that kind of commitment. It's not sustainable for a long time, but it is good for those short turnarounds, those quick study sessions for certs. It's good. It's just really hard on you, so don't do it for too long. All right, let's see. I know I probably missed a few questions or so. Is 1 or 2 months feasible for ICND 1? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And ABL, always be labbing? Yes, always be labbing. ICND 1 is like, I think people always say ICND 1 is probably the hardest of the two out of CCNA, which it will be no more. Rest in peace. I'm going to miss that exam. But it's harder because it is your first introduction to the Cisco world, to networking, to understanding concepts like how does a switch work? I don't know a hub did that. Spanning tree, what, you plug 2 cords in? Oh gosh, like those things are so foundational and it's always hard to get started. Kind of like the Linux thing, like it's just hard to get started. It's that really steep curve. That's why ICND 1 is so hard. And like learning subnetting is very heavy on subnetting. So spend a lot of time on that. You can do it in 2 months, but make sure you get the concepts. Get those concepts. Lab it up as much as you can. Let's see. So great question from Greg. This is how long do you believe someone can go from zero in IT to landing their first job in IT while self-studying? Which certifications should I get to be considered for employment? Here's what I would do. And I wish I would have done this in the past. When I first started, I didn't really know what to do. First, I would exhaust all your contacts. Talk to whoever you can and say, hey, do you know anyone in IT? Can you see if they're hiring? If you go to a church, I bet you a box of donuts there's someone in your church who is in IT. Just is how it works. Get a contact and say, I will do whatever it takes. I'm trying to get into IT. So exhaust your contacts first. That's what you got to do. Second, get on those job boards. Get on LinkedIn. Get on Indeed, wherever the most popular job board is. I think Indeed is pretty big in America. LinkedIn is huge. I've used LinkedIn to get a ton of jobs, or not a ton. Like I've gotten 2 jobs off LinkedIn. Go find jobs in your area. Like the first job you'll get in IT is most of the time going to be help desk. Go look at the help desk jobs in your area and see what they're looking for. Just do that. It might be the A+. It might be Linux Plus. You don't know. That might be a really hot Linux job. It might be Network Plus. Like you don't know. But see what the requirements are. And what I would do, this is the key right here. Don't wait until you have that certification. Don't do that. Don't do that. Immediately start studying for it and immediately put that you're studying for it on your resume. So what I mean is that if you start studying for the CompTIA A+, you don't have it yet. Okay, fine, that's fine. But on your resume, you put studying for A+. Studying for CompTIA A+. What this does is, first of all, it shows people that you're working on something, you're aspiring to something. So if you're applying for a help desk position, at least they know you're trying to get it. Second, you show up in job searches. And that's the name of the game. It's almost SEO, search engine optimization. I almost knocked over my coffee. I saw that. You want to show up in those job searches. I've done this with my CCMP. I've done this with so many things. There's probably a recruiter calling me right now. I've done this with so many things. If you start working on it and you plan to know it, put it on your resume. The third thing I would do is you need experience. Volunteer, man. And I think the best place to do it is churches. Churches do not have big budgets for things. Go to a church, find a small church, and say, hey, do you guys need help with IT? Most of the time it's going to be like the pastor's son or some like oddball doing something that isn't what he's doing, offer to help. You can put that sucker right on your resume. There are so many like volunteers. Like that's the biggest battle with IT is getting experience and getting certifications. And it's like chicken before egg kind of thing, but you can hack it. You don't have to obey the rules. Just find a beeline to where you need to be. I think that's the path you should take. Let's see. Yeah, and LinkedIn is really where it's at. Like Matt McElroy said, LinkedIn's the best. Only 3% of resumes get looked at on job boards. I don't know why we still have resumes, to be honest. It's such an inefficient process. LinkedIn is huge. Oh, and that's the other thing too. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot to tell you this. I'm thinking about making a course on it too because it's so vital. It's part of what's made me successful on YouTube because I've used these strategies. But you gotta learn how to brand yourself. You gotta learn how to market yourself. If I were starting from zero right now, like if I were me back when I was 21 years old and I was selling toilets, I was literally selling toilets. What would I tell myself? I would say I was studying for my A+. I'd say keep studying for your A+, but get on Twitter, get on LinkedIn, get on Facebook, get on YouTube, and start documenting your process. Do it. Start documenting everything you're doing. If you just learned about RAM, if you just learned what a motherboard is, post about it. I don't care how bad the content is. You'll get better. Repetition is what makes you better. And getting your name out there, having that brand, even if you're just small, you're going to be big in somebody's world. And that's going to go such a long way. Build that brand up. That's the absolute best thing you can do for yourself. Branding is king in this industry now. It really is. Twitter is so huge right now for tech. Twitter is so important for technology. I've seen people's careers built on Twitter and on LinkedIn. It's amazing. We got a new member, Warrior Sharp. That's an excellent name. Welcome to the team. All right, let's see. We got a good question here. Gerson, I don't know how you say that, asks, what would happen if I only passed my CCMP switch exam before February 2020? You would get a big fat goose egg. You get nothing. And you do not only, so here's with the routing and switching, because it is the most popular exam, I'll address this. With the CCMP routing and switching, if you only have route, you lose. If you only have switch, you lose. You don't want to have just one of those two. If you have both, you'll get something. You will get something. You'll get, I think you get a specialization exam that's, I think you might get the Encore exam or certification. You do not want to just have one or the other. If you have T-shoot only, you get a specialization. So you'll be halfway to CCMP when it does rev. So you either want to have both, a route switch, just T-shoot, or all three is the best situation. Don't just have router switch. Please don't do that. That would be the worst because you basically get nothing. And I know how hard those exams are. Those are hard exams. Don't put yourself in that position. Let's see. So Matt Rendell said, hate to sound repetitive. No, I don't sound. You don't sound repetitive. I do not get a chance to look at all these. Look at TMUX. Is that just TMUX? Write it down. I'm gonna write it down. Thanks, Matt. On Linux. It's cool, apparently. I want to check that out. Let's see. So Jake says I can probably get on the help desk or service desk. They like to call it service desk, not the help desk anymore. It's going to be an uphill and outnumbered fight to get into a system network admin role. I disagree. I've been in that position where you're on the help desk. I think if you show a ton of hustle, if you show them that you're studying, you can do it. Seriously, it's almost when I was trying to do that. I'll tell you what I did. When I was on the help desk and I knew I wanted to become a network admin, when I saw this guy at the command line like a wizard, I'm like, I want to be that guy. What I did is I said, okay, I'm getting my certification. I let the boss know. I let the CEO know that I was studying for it. I came in early before my shift. I sat at my desk. I made a show of it, man. I had my book out. I had my terminals up. I was almost like typing too loud so people would hear it. I wanted people to know that I was working my butt off. And I was going to the data center helping the network engineers out late at night. I wasn't getting paid for it. I was doing it for free. I wanted to show them that I was there to hustle, and it paid off. I became the network engineer. And you got to do that. I gave the same advice to my little brother, Cameron. He's been on the channel a few times here before. He's doing great, by the way. He doesn't have his certification in wireless, but he's working on wireless. He's a network admin, and he's specializing in wireless right now. He hates it, but he's still doing wireless, and now he's studying for AWS. But he's doing great. But I gave him the same advice. He didn't go to college. He started on the help desk, and he did his best to shadow people. He did his best to put his foot in the door with anyone he could. And I mean, I didn't help him. I mean, I gave him advice, but I didn't like make calls and try to get him in there. No, he did that all on his own, and it totally worked, which I was really happy for. I'm like, I don't want to give my brother bad advice because like it worked for me. It may not work for somebody else. It totally worked for him, and I believe it could work for you. It's just how it works. I'm starting to fade a little bit, guys, and my wife's gonna kill me because she's like, again, she's really pregnant and she hates when I take too long. So she's like, are you live streaming tonight? I'm like, yeah. She's like, how long is it going to be? Do you have like a subject to time limit? I'm like, yeah, I'll only do an hour. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I love doing this too much with you guys. Sebastian asks, what if you get the CCNA without any help desk experience? Can you succeed? Yes, you can. But you open up an interesting question, and this is where it can be dangerous for you. It's where people get too certified with not enough experience, and that looks weird on a resume. I've been in positions where I've looked at resumes. I've needed to hire a network engineer. Looking at a resume, I'm like, okay, this guy has a CCMP. Wow, that's fantastic. What has he done before? No experience. That's weird. And at that point, it doesn't look good. It just doesn't. You don't want to go too far. So what I recommend is if you get your CCNA, no experience, that's good. Like that's probably the limit. Don't go any further than that unless you have experience. Now, you want to get into a job that'll value that CCMP you get, or whatever higher level cert you get. But if you get too high, it looks weird. It just does. I'm not saying it's impossible, and I'm not saying you won't do well with it, because every situation can be different. But I'm saying from experience and what I've seen, it doesn't look good. Experience will always be king, no matter what. Certifications are fantastic. You know I love them. I talk about them all the time. Experience will always be the best thing you can ever get. If you can get your hands on experience, even if you're making nothing, that was worth its weight in gold. You have to like kind of, I don't know if you guys follow Gary Vee, but you kind of just have to see it. Go listen to him, by the way. But you have to see it as, if you invest just like maybe a year of your life working a crappy job making nothing, but you're getting really great experience, that's worth way more than if you were making just a little bit more money, but you weren't getting that experience. So you kind of have to make a sacrifice there, I think. Anyways, so this dude rocks. Apparently this dude rocks. Says, I got testing anxiety because I never do well on tests. It's terrible. I hear you. I think with the new Cisco exams, it's kind of going to be better. I mean, I think the exams are going to be tough. But as far as recertification, I think it's going to be better because you can recertify without taking exams. You can do continuing education credits. So like going to Cisco Live and writing exam questions. So you can make more people anxious, just not you. You can do it that way. So yeah, it's getting better. But yeah, right now, exams are the king right now. What is the best way to reach me offline for questions? Richard, right now the best way, it's probably my email. But and it's chuck@networkchuck.com. But again, I do get a lot, so it's hard for me to kind of parse through. If you leave me a comment on a YouTube video, I do try to respond to as many comments there as I can. And I will be doing on my membership, if you join, I do have a private live stream once a month where we just get to sit in there and chat, members only. So that will be a chance to talk and kind of have a forum. So that's the options right there. But yeah, it's when you get we hit 100,000 subscribers, and that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people to respond to, and I'm only one guy. So I have to figure out a way to kind of, parse down the people I can respond to. Oh, let's see. Do I have connections in Kansas City, Missouri? No, I don't. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I might. Doesn't Kevin Wallace live in Kansas City? I don't know. Actually, I don't think I do. Sorry. I think he lives in Kansas. Kansas City, Missouri. So Lee Atkins asking, or Lee Akin, what about having programming experience but no IT experience and having certs? That's an interesting thing. I think right now, if you have programming experience, you're going to be super valuable right now. That's just how it is. If you have programming experience and you get your CCNA, you can probably land a pretty good job. I think so. I think you'll win. Right now, programming it's the thing. Oh yeah, Kevin Wallace is in Kentucky. Thanks, Jason. Let's see. I should automate my email answers with Python. That's not a bad idea, actually. Not a bad idea. Oh yeah, Dewan Lightfoot does live in Kansas City, Missouri. You may want to reach out to him. Lab Every Day is his Twitter handle. Reach out to him. Well, anyways, guys, I think we've been on for a bit. I do need to attend to my family. Thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. Seriously, this is like one of my favorite things I get to do, is just talk with you guys directly like this. I wish I could do it more often, and I wish I could talk to every single one of you and address every one of your questions, but thank you so much. I'm going more involved. I'm becoming more involved on YouTube, so I'll be trying to make more content consistently, and just let me know what you want to see. I'm making Linux content. I'm making CCNA content. I'll be making some Python and automation content. I'm going to try and make the content that you care about and the content that will help the most people. So let me know what you want to see. I want to help you guys through CCNA and Ccmp journeys coming up soon. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I know it's hard to study for certifications. I know it's hard. I've been there. I've done that. And I'm doing it now. Thanks a lot. You guys put me on the line. So like what I have, August 29th is the date, right? Yeah, August 29th. So I'll be doing that. I'm gonna schedule the exam right after. I'll post on Instagram of my my exam scheduling, and you better go follow me on Instagram and like that. I'll be posting on stories, YouTube stories, Instagram stories, just more detailed stuff, more everyday stuff. And again, if you want to have like a private live stream, I'll be offering more stuff through my YouTube membership program. That's about it. I don't think I can talk anymore. I'm starting to fall asleep and lose it. Despite coffee is losing its effectiveness, surprisingly. That's about it, guys. I so appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do in this community. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. We should have an adventure here soon. Bye.